Welcome back to the Coach's Hour. Hey, got it this time. And we are on episode 2. So today we're continuing on the theme of summer drop-offs, and we're going to talk about how the summer slump isn't necessarily the problem, but maybe you are the problem. So everyone always talks about the summer being where, you know, their business tends to drop off the most, but perhaps it doesn't have to be. Perhaps it is your lack of systems. Maybe it's your lack of a build-up towards the summer, and maybe your mindset towards it, which is the big issue. So what we're looking at is how can you control and make the summer period your opportunity instead of making it an excuse. So where do you think we should start with this?
Yeah, I think a good place to start would be what to do. Let's say you're quiet now. So like I'm quiet now, you're quiet now in the summer. What would you do right now? Because we're recording this on August the 14th. So what would you do right now to get a couple new clients before the winter begins? I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I think organic reach is always going to be the best. So things like, you know, utilizing referral systems. I think coaches are notoriously bad for referrals. Whether it's just our own egos or we're just not used to doing it, but it's quite normal to, you know, ask someone for a referral if you've done a good job, right? So just asking for like a recommendation to say, hey, you know, you've done really, really good. Is there somebody that you would recommend that you think would be, you know, a good fit for the business, right? That also is a friend that wants to get in shape or do what you've been doing. Because ultimately your clients are a walking billboard for you, right? You know, if you can get them into shape, they're going to be walking around with a six-pack and they go to these events, whether it's Christmas, whether it's summer. You know, I've got a client that just did a shoot. Monday. He did a shoot Monday. Damn, it feels like last week. So he did a shoot on Monday. He's looking fucking jacked, right? And he's going to go away on holiday. He's not going to Ibiza, so he probably won't see it.
Won't see the final boss.
That's it. But he's going to be on the beach and he's going to be absolutely shredded. What's going to happen? He's probably going to be taking loads of pictures because he looks good, right? And then when it comes to, you know, holiday, you're going to be posting pictures on your Instagram, on your socials. Other people are going to see that. And they're going to go, holy shit, you know, how do you look so good kind of thing. And there's going to be people that reach out and your client may not necessarily automatically go, oh yeah, you know, here's my coach. They may think, yeah, I look great, right? You know, kind of thing. And sometimes it's just about reaching out to your clients to say, hey, you know, this is a summer period. You know, you can be transparent. I'm a little bit lower in terms of clientele. Is there anybody that you think would be a good fit for the business? And I think utilizing your referral network, utilizing, you know, the people around you that have had a great experience, you know, when you've given someone, you know, incredible experience, they're going to shout from the rooftops for you, right? They're going to have absolutely no problem with giving you a referral. But I think a lot of it's down to, you know, our mindset in terms of, I don't want to feel like I'm weak. I don't want to feel small.
Help me.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm struggling. And it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's literally just a transaction.
Yeah, and I think referrals are one of the biggest indicators as to your level of service as a whole, like delivery of results, communication standards, etc. Because people won't put their name to things and co-sign things if they don't believe it to be true. So Definitely. Someone would not recommend you if they thought you were terrible. I would not recommend you go and train my brother if I'm thinking you're going to keep him fat. I would not recommend you go and train my sister if I think, oh, hang on, you're going to get her on the beers. Like, we don't only put our trust in people that we know that they're going to get a result, because ultimately, like, if I introduce you to someone and that person fails, they're going to look bad on me as well. So if someone's willing to refer you, you don't need the testimonials, even though you do. You don't need to post on social media, even though you do. The referral is strong enough to say, hang on, you're doing a good job here, because someone's putting their name on the line by introducing someone they know, like, and trust into your orbit, because they know, like, and trust you. And if you get a referral, and you can get referrals, like, you don't need to sell, because, again, like, if your friend recommended you to go and get a jacket, you probably wouldn't even do the research on a jacket. You just go and buy it because you trust your friend's word. So the sale's already done, kind of thing. So I completely agree with getting referrals and leaning into referrals as a way of getting summer interest. And to add to that as well, I would say do what a lot of other PTs aren't doing at the time as well. So like, let's for argument's sake, say you're in the gym floor, on the gym floor still. A lot of PTs will take this summertime and be like, oh, I've got no clients, I've got no sessions. I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'm going to go and do whatever it is, family day, sit at home, do some online posting, create some content. Fine. Let's keep the content in. Just go and do the content at the gym. Because if you're at the gym when 90% of other personal trainers aren't, there are still, as you mentioned before, there are still going to be clients or potential clients in the gym working out, even though it's summer, they're not on holiday. And that gives you a pool that is untapped because there's going to be no other personal trainers there. So anyone needs help. Oh, you're the only PT that's around. Can you help me do this? Oh, you're the only person that's here to do a taster session, an induction. You're the only person that's here. Can you do that, Jay? Like, in near enough every facility I've been in, I've been more consistent at times when it's quiet. So like there's times where I went into a gym and people told me, oh, don't bother in the summer. You don't need to. I'm being deadly serious. Don't bother in the summer. You'll be quiet until the winter. Just focus on your education. Use this time to develop an upskill. And being the kind of idiot that I am, I'm like, you're telling me I can't do it in the summer, aren't you? All right, then I'll see you in September. September comes, I'm 6 new clients up. But that's because the mentality of every single person training in that gym was from, I think it was May to August, it's quiet, very quiet. And don't get me wrong, the gym was very quiet. But again, I was the only person that was there morning till night. So even though it was quiet, I'm still the omnipresent person that's, hang on, is always here. Oh, do you know what? It's summer, I'm not going away this year because I'm not happy with how I look. Do you know what? Next year or into Christmas, I'm gonna make a change, and then it's not gonna be New Year, New Me. Jay, what's this you doing? Like, what are you doing? Oh, come on, do you know what I mean? So like for me, it's being willing to do what other PTs aren't doing, and I think summer's kind of the time where a lot of PTs do take their eye off the ball, and that's great. If you're listening to this, that's great for you because it gives you an opportunity where a lot of PTs don't see one, and it's kind of like big fish, small pond, big fish. Like all the other fish have jumped out the pond in terms of personal trainers. Like you're the only fish in there, so it doesn't matter the size of the pond. You are the only fish, kind of thing. So go fishing.
Visibility is definitely a big thing, right? I think, yeah, if I look back now at the current gym that I'm at, yeah, there is, the personal trainers are very, like, there isn't that many around. And I was thinking, oh, maybe some of them are like left, you know, the gym. But I'm like, it's the summer. I forget, like, it's the summer. Like, a lot of the trainers are just not in there as much because they don't have sessions. So, and they think that everyone is away, like you said. So they're just not being visible. And they're like, sometimes you just, you know, I go to like a kind of like a gym group type gym, right? Where sometimes you just want somebody to let, you know, your day pass in or whatever, right? And there's no one about to do that. And it's like, imagine if you were just that one person that's in there. Surely, you know, the gym's it's not quiet. You know, there's still people that go in there. So you've got this whole, you know, roster of people that you can now speak to, you're visible to, and people actually think, oh shit, you know, are you the only person that actually works here?
Yes, I am.
That is a brilliant like place to be because you're visible. Like if I'm thinking about getting a personal trainer, right, I'm gonna go to somebody that is always there at the gym. Like there's some trainers at the gym that I go to that I think, holy shit, you know, I've been training here for like 2 years. I didn't even know you were a trainer. Like the lack of, you know, visibility in terms of maybe they're not even wearing, you know, a uniform. They just blend in with the crowd. You're not in like crazy good shape. So then when you're training a client, I'm like, are you training a client or are you just training your friend? You know, or who's even the trainer here at the same time as well. So I think, yeah, that visibility thing is massive. And yeah, I think that's a really good point to be like, use that time. And, you know,
a couple of like, just to add on to that as well, because like when we say be visible, a lot of coaches, at least in my experience as well, they take that as art. So like, we'll go back to the social media. Summer's quiet, so you might upskill your systems and spend time creating a social media campaign or posting or doing what you're doing in training, etc., keeping your clients up to date. still do that. Just do that on the gym floor. Like, if this is a gym now and I've got work to do, my laptop's here, I'm going to do this, whatever work I'm doing on my laptop, and someone walks in, I'll just say hello. Like, you don't have to.
That's an interaction.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like you said, someone to let in your day pass. I bet you could. How many PTs in your gym do you know their name? How many have come up to and introduced themselves to you?
I think I know about two
out of
names.
maybe.
I think there's about 8 or 10 of them. Yeah,
exactly. And the funny thing is, which is like, because you could potentially forgive a lot of personal trainers for not wanting to speak to you because you look like you know what you're doing. You're in the gym with all the cuffs and the chains, a bit of mechanics.
Yeah.
So they're like, hang on, I'm not gonna go. Nah, this guy's in an after party. I'm not gonna go. Put this back. This guy's in an after party. I'm not gonna go with him. And it's like, but even though you know what you're doing, people should still want to know your name. And like every gym that I've worked in, it doesn't matter who, like I don't speak to people on the basis of they could be a potential client. I speak to people I want everyone in the gym to know me. Because if I walk through the gym and literally everyone says hello, that newbie that's scared, that's unsure of what they're doing, they're going to be like, oh, everyone knows him. I'm going to go to ask him what I'm talking. Like, do you know what I mean? And not everyone has to be a sale. Like, not everyone, like, you don't, people are people, they're not dollar signs. So, like, just because you may not sign someone up doesn't mean you don't speak to them. So, like, in your gym, it shocks me that no one's actually said, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so. You look like you know what you're doing, but if you want to train, you look in shape. I want to train with you, actually. Do you know what I mean? But, like, it surprises me that no one even goes out of their way. So, if you're listening to this and everyone in your gym doesn't know who you are, it's kind of like, you should probably fix that straight away, especially when it's quiet and there's no other personal trainers doing that now. Like, I think that's one of the fundamentals. Like, your gym is your home. Everyone that walks into the gym, you welcome into your home. It's like, welcome into my home.
This is my home.
Yeah, this is my house. I live here. Yeah. This is my roof. But yeah, like, I think you should actually welcome into your home and like just make people feel comfortable. And it doesn't mean they're going to sign up with you, but eventually they might.
Yeah. I think going off that as well, it's a lot of trainers do tend to train maybe at a different gym, during, you might work here, but then you don't actually train at the place that you work. And, being in that situation, I can understand that sometimes, there's better facilities, one. And the other is sometimes, you don't genuinely, you want to train, but you don't want to be disturbed. Or there's another times where you just want to be able to leave the building, because, if you're doing 10 sessions in a day, oftentimes that you're probably in there from 5 o'clock and you may not necessarily leave until 9, right? And sometimes it gives you a chance to just escape the building itself. But I think during times where, there's not many trainers on the gym floor, where you kind of need clients, or if you're starting out, the best thing that you could do is train at the gym that you work at. Because, and it doesn't mean that you have to wear a uniform to train, but when you train, people start to see, okay, this guy actually knows what they're doing. I can't, like, every gym that I've been at, like, the members have always spoken to me. And I'm just another member, right? I'm not even a PT there. But they speak to me because I think it's just because they see me train. And they see the intensity. They see, okay, shit, this is the only guy that's here that actually kind of looks like they know what they're doing. Which is crazy because there's other personal trainers in the gym, right? And this comes down to the part of, practicing what you preach. Like, people want to talk to somebody or get help from somebody who, even though I may not even necessarily know what I'm talking about, right? And they don't know that. But they see the way that I train, they see what I'm doing, and they think, he looks like he knows what he's doing, right? And, there's definitely, a side to that I think a lot of trainers, if they're not training at the gym that they're working at, I think they can miss out on, quite a lot of people if they're quiet at the moment, in terms of clientele.
Definitely. And if you're easily annoyed, probably don't do that, because you do get interrupted quite a lot. But at the same time, you should welcome those interruptions. Like, if you're fully booked, again, probably don't even train at the gym because you'll get interrupted. But if you're not fully booked, you welcome those interruptions and be like, yeah, I'll definitely come and help you right now. Let me just finish this. In fact, I'm not even going to finish this set. Let me just jump off right now. So, yeah, I think it's a very good point, that. And so, like, let's say now, because it's summer, quiet. A lot of people are on the fence, like people that will know that they need to lose weight. That's probably why they haven't gone on holiday, because they're like, oh, I'm not in shape. But they still are hesitant about signing up. First of all, like, what are the common objections you've heard? If you got some funny ones. But then also, like, second part of that question is, how would you overcome that? So, like, we can probably answer those in two parts. So first of all, like, do you have any common objections that you've normally come across, either yourself or that your clients say to you?
Yeah, I have a few written down. Some of them they're quite similar across the board in general. So people will typically say, oh, you know, I'll start after the holidays, or I'll start after my holiday. I'm going to be going away. People will say that to you, not just in the summer, but people will say that in, you know, Christmas, January, whatever, anytime. I'll start after, you know, so they're always waiting for the best time. Or, you know, we were speaking to this before in terms of preparation, is like when the kids go to school, you know, during term time, you know, it gives the parents a break and to allow them to train, right? But then during the summer holidays, it's like, shit, you know, I've got the kids at night. There's nothing that I can do. So that, again, that's one of the excuses where, you know, I'll wait until the kids kind of go back to school.
So just with them two then, before, because I'll lose track, you've got it written down, I'll definitely lose track. So with them two, those are the objections. So I'm going to wait for the perfect time, and it's summer holidays, I've got kids, and the kids stuff can be any to like half terms and Christmas. Yeah. So how would you go about kind of moving those barriers out the way and handling those objections?
Yeah, I think these handling of objections are really good, because your clients are probably going to say this to you at some point in their journey. Always, there's going to be something that's going to get in it, whether it may not necessarily be as long as, say, a holiday, but it could just be, you know, a weekend. It could be, you know, anniversary, birthdays, things like that, right? So when they say, you know, I'll start after whatever, what you're trying to get across to your client, and how I like to handle the objection, is like, we want to find a way to work in unison with it. So this program, your fat loss, you know, whatever you're trying to achieve, that doesn't stop because something else is going on, right? Everything should come in unison. So, like, you know, we look at people like Mr. Beast, Stephen Bartlett, you know, all the even Alex Hormozy, all the people that are really, really high performers, they still make time, you know, to run their business and go to the gym. You know, I don't know if any of them have kids. I don't think they do.
No.
Right?
If you want to be successful, don't have kids. That's the takeaway.
That's what I'm getting in terms of the conclusion here.
If you want to be in shape, don't have kids.
But yeah, they still have time to kind of run their business, and, you know, keep on top of their health. And I think this is something that you want to also relay over to your clients. So we're trying to do this thing despite all of the things that's going on, right? If you can lose fat, if you can, you know, be adherent, if you can stick to, you know, the plan at times where it is very, very difficult, then when there's times where it's easy, it's going to be really easy for you to stick to it, right? The hardest part is this moment. Like, when do people drop off? They don't, or when do people, you know, fall off plan or go off track? It's not when things are easy. It's when life is difficult, you know, when shit's going on, when the holidays are going on, when it's Christmas, when, you know, the dog ate my homework or whatever, right? Those are the time when it becomes the most difficult. And that is when your coaching they really need you the most. So I think it's almost like the gym floor thing is doubling down on that. And it's like, hey, you know, this is the actual, like, make people aware. This is actually all these excuses that you're giving me right now. These are all the reasons why you need me here at this moment in time, why you should be carrying on. Isn't because, you know, you don't have the time or you can't do it. Is that you need me to help show you to navigate yourself around it. And that's how you're going to build client autonomy, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's like a little bit cliche, like when it's like, there's never a right time. Now is the right time. Even though it's exactly what people need to hear. And the way I frame it is like, a lot of our clients will come to us having dieted in some way, shape or form in the past. Like, normally I'm at an age, and you're at an age now, where the clients we get have all dieted some way. And it's like, okay, then you've dieted before, but you're here now. So that means that you've dieted before, maybe successfully, maybe not. But either way, you went back to square one. Why did you go back to square one? It's probably going to be because you chose to start the diet when you had a runway. You chose to start when your diary was clear, like you're trying to do now. And then you done well because your diary was clear. Then life got in the way. Then what happened? It went tits up. And then you put 1, 2, 3, 10 plus tax. And now we're sitting here. And it's like, if that happened in the past, it's okay. I will wait for you to figure out when your life's going on. And you'll make the same progress with me. And then you'll hit the hiccup again. And then the same thing will happen, just like it's happened before. The difference is, if we start now, when things aren't plain sailing, imagine how easy it's going to be when your diary is clear. It's like, that's why you should start now, kind of thing. That's why now is the right time. And I think when handling objections, I like to lean into what's worked before in the past for them, and then what hasn't worked in the past. Because normally you'll find there's a pattern of, I was successful when I when my kids were at school. I was successful when I was on leave from my job, or when I wasn't working too much. I was successful when I had all this free time. But now I've got 6 weddings coming up. I've got 2 christenings. I've got holiday. My kids off school. It's like, now there is a way to navigate that. And it might not be the linear progress that you want, but it will get you the systems, the routines, the habits, the resilience to be able to manage that. And if you do that successfully, when your kids are back at school, when your job's quiet again, when you've got no weddings and no christenings, it's going to fall off. If fat loss is your goal, it's going to fall off. So like, let's start now when it's hard, because as you mentioned before, like, it's going to get hard again in the future. What happens then? Like, life is never just clean runway. It's always ups and downs. So if we can take control of what your journey is like on a down, imagine when it's up.
Yeah.
What about the second objection you spoke about? Or was that 2 rolled into one?
The second objection
was kids.
Yeah, it was kids. Like,
we half covered that.
Yeah, we'll start when the kids go back to school. I think that's a genuine problem, right? Like, that isn't a, oh, you just give me an excuse kind of thing. I think when we didn't have kids, I think I speak for both of us in the sense of, I didn't really quite understand it.
Yeah.
But now when I have kids, I'm thinking, shit, yeah, this, like, my daughter, she goes to nursery, right? And your son as well, but they don't have summer holidays, right?
No.
They're going to go, but when my daughter goes to school, I'm thinking, okay, so she's going to go term time. It's going to be from 9 till 4, but then they get 6 weeks off. What the hell am I going to do in that 6 weeks? And I think that is a very genuine problem.
So how would you overcome that then? Because like, I completely agree. It's a difficult problem to have, we'll say. Maybe not even a problem, difficult situation to face. And like, it's one of those ones where it's not a case of, do you want it enough? It's not a case of, it's literally genuinely, I've got this person that is stuck to my leg. How do I leave them for an hour? So like, how would you navigate that?
I think let's go with the extreme, right, where you can't get any help, right? Maybe you don't have parents that are nearby. You don't have siblings or whatever that can help you out, right? You are a solo parent. I think the real struggle here is, like, sometimes it's accepting that maybe your client genuinely can't come in, and is there other things that person can work on, right? Is there, maybe instead of thinking, okay, this is the time that they can't train, maybe they can go for more walks with their kids, right? Maybe they can double down on the nutrition. So find activity in a different way, as opposed to it having to be in the gym. And this is where we were speaking in the last episode about flipping it from, maybe not being a in-person personal training session, but more hybrid in terms of online. Can you help them out in terms of the nutrition and focus more on that side of things versus the in-person kind of training, that value that you would give them. So that way they can potentially still lose fat, right? fat loss is, we know it's energy expenditure and, calories in, calories out kind of thing. So as long as they're still doing some sort of activity, and arguably you could say the expenditure is going to be higher, because when you're in the gym, you don't really burn that many calories, right? But if that person's going for, more walks, they're being more active, playing with their kids more, maybe they're more active during the day, that's going to allow them to have a higher energy expenditure. Maybe their food doesn't have to be as low, right? Or if they're at home now, they can spend more time to cook those meals and have food kind of prepared. So these things, they can definitely still get the fat loss. Obviously, it's not ideal. Maybe, they do enjoy training, in which case maybe it's setting out some home workouts for them that they can do, right? We've all been through COVID. We've all, actually, maybe some people haven't.
Resistance bands still somewhere gathering dust.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not the most enjoyable, but we have to meet the client where they're at. And I think for the majority of our clients, we're not dealing with bodybuilders. We're not talking about, people who are, the 1%ers. We're talking about just your average person that, is a solo parent that's trying to get through life, right? And they just want to lose a little bit of fat. And we just have to meet them where they're at. Are they going to benefit as much from home workouts versus being in the gym with yourself? Probably not. But is it going to be better than doing absolutely nothing and just going, hey, I have to wait until, September and have 3 months off? It's like, you probably can do something about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's about shifting perspective. As you said, like, if we, going back to the first or second episode, I can't remember which one now, but going back to what we've previously spoken about in terms of the journey versus a session, or the outcome versus a session. So if someone's paying you for sessions, obviously if they can't come in, then that's the end of the journey. But if someone's paying for an outcome, then at times when they maybe can't be in the gym as much, you'll just shift perspective. And it's like, okay, then, as you said, we'll focus on a little bit more output. You with your son or daughter, you with your child over the next 6 weeks. Do they like riding bikes? Perfect. Go on a couple more bike rides. Take them to the park. Go for morning strolls. And like, I'm speaking not from a hypothetical place. Like, I've got clients now with children in the summer holidays, and they are doing just that. Sessions are a little bit down. They're still getting support. So we've tightened up nutrition. As you just mentioned, like what you mentioned is literally what's going on with me right now. Like, we've tightened up nutrition. They've got more time to prepare. So they're taking their kids through like cooking lessons and showing their kids, so interacting with the kids, which gives them a nutritious meal for themselves, and then B, bonding time with the child, taking kids for more walks and bike rides, etc. And then as and when we can, we're getting into the gym for sessions. But we know that for the next, still now probably 3 or 4 weeks, that our training schedule is going to be interrupted. Now, is the client still getting value from that? Yes. Am I getting as much money as I would be if they were in for 3 sessions a week? Absolutely not. But is that client likely going to stay with me for the next couple of years? Yes. It's no surprise that the clients I'm speaking about have been with me for 2+ years, and I've been at my new studio, or now not new, for 2+ years. Like, they've been with me since I started, because I don't view them as just a session. I view them as an overall outcome and a person. So yes, for a couple of months, my income might be impacted because they aren't in for X amount of sessions. I'm not going to write them off. I'm going to say, exactly as you said, meet you where you're at. And my client's going to be like, hang on, yeah, he's meet where I'm at. Like, when I can come in more, I will. And then when I can't, I've still got touch points. I still message them often. I still check in every single week. And if your client can't come in for any sessions, for example, you might just lower your price a little bit and shift them to online. At least then you've got some income for yourself. But the most valuable thing is the client remains in touch with you, because if you let someone go AWOL for 3 weeks, we've got no idea how they're going to come back, and even if they're going to come back. So at least having those touch points, more so than the finances, I would say, is key if and when someone genuinely can't get in for sessions.
Yeah. Momentum goes both ways, right? You can build momentum positively, but negative momentum
I like
also.
that. Yeah, I like that.
It's the same, right? And I think to finish it off, I think the thing that I always find to ask yourself is like, what is the best thing that I can do in this scenario? Like, in terms of your client, if they are struggling, it's like, just as long as you're thinking about what is the best thing that you can do for this person in that scenario, you can never really go wrong, because you're trying the best of your ability to help this person to, whether it's to stay in shape, whether it's to find a solution around, what their issue is. As long as you're thinking about that, you're in a good place. So to wrap up, I think summer slump is inevitable as always, but utilizing your referral network, speaking to your clients in terms of objection handling, and have your presence, on that gym floor, in times where perhaps everybody else is slacking off as well. So be different, I guess.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway is like summer slumps do happen, but they don't have to happen for you. Like you still have control over.
They don't have to go the same way.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like your clients might be off, but there are other clients in the gym. There are other clients on social media. There are other clients within your referral network. Like I think if you go into summer saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to lose clients. I'm going to have a quiet summer." Of course, like it's like speaking into existence. Not very spiritual, but like speaking into existence. Like it's not anything spiritual. But if you go into the mindset of I'm not going to have any clients, you probably won't speak to people because you already think, "Oh, no one's going to sign up," which means you limit yourself straight away by not speaking to anyone. Whereas if you open your mindset and say, "Hang on, okay, then Jane's gone. That means I've got a 5 p.m. I'm going to go in the gym at 5 p.m. And whoever's training in there today at 5 p.m. will probably be in there tomorrow at 5 p.m. So that's Jane's replacement for the next 6 weeks. And maybe beyond if Jane doesn't book her ideas up and go, next year, Jane, you got competition. Do you know what I mean? John's in 5 p.m. now. But I think just opening your mind to like, actually, yes, it might be a little bit quiet, but that doesn't mean I cannot do the bare minimum, be consistent, show my face more, etc., etc.
You'll be like Conor McGregor, Mystic Mac. You're going to speak it into existence.
Exactly.
There you go. Okay. And that's a wrap on our episode 2. So thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to message us. You can find me on Instagram at Gym With Him. And my co-host is at Jawade Graham Coach. Let us know of any feedback, any questions, or any topics that you'd like to discuss. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.